Hello learners, I am Dr. Manish Kumar Bhardwaj from School of Engineering and Technology of IGNOU. Today I will discuss with you typical safety issues in construction industry. Let us begin with safety in the construction industry. What is the scenario? In India, the construction industry has earned a dubious record of huge loss of manpower through accidents and health issues. To bring about a change in this scenario, both the workmen and the management need to put serious efforts. While the management is responsible for drawing up the safety plan and procedures for the work area, the site supervisors and workmen too are responsible for proper implementation of the safety plans, like avoiding walking under suspended load or walking into a cordoned area without safety precautions. Means if we want to avoid the accidents, we should not do these things. Let's see what are the common causes of accidents in the construction industry. The common causes of accidents are use of power operated machineries, for example pneumatic hammers or angle grinders. Then tripping on obstacles in the path or on slippery surfaces. Then falling from height, like when we are working on scaffolding or ladders. So there are likely chances of falling from the height. Then accidents while lifting heavy loads. Lot many mistakes are made when workers are lifting heavy loads, and due to that they get physical injuries. So to avoid that, what we can do? So there are obligations of all the stakeholders. All the stakeholders means here the employer, the contractor, the employee or the workman. So let us begin with the obligations of employers to avoid the accidents. What they can do? First is that framing and implementing a health and safety policy. Means some health and safety policy is in place, then all must follow that, and if all are following that policy, then you can reduce the accidents in the organization or at the work site. So it is very important aspect that framing and implementing a health and safety policy if work continues for more than 14 days and there are 5 or more workers at the workplace. So this is the condition, that if the work is continuing for more than 14 days and if there are 5 or more workers at the workplace, then there should be some health and safety policy in place. Then what other things can be done? Training. Suitably train up the employees and instruct them properly so that work can be performed safely and securely. Next is implementation and monitoring. Effective implementation and monitoring that safety rules and procedures are being followed at work site will certainly help in reducing the accidents. Then what can be done? Other things are prepare a written workstation risk assessment involving the employees. That for the work site there should be a written risk assessment which involves the employees also. That what are the risks, what are the possible risks, how we can avoid that, what steps should be followed to avoid any risk or any accident. That should be a written document there at the work site. Then what are the responsibilities of the employer? That all employers are responsible for ensuring the safety of workmen in a construction site. And what are the responsibilities of the employer? That first of all, proper training and instruction to workmen to follow safety policies and guidelines. Then effective supervision to ensure that workmen are following the safety standards and using safe equipments. Just merely providing them the safe equipments is not enough. It is to be monitored that they are using those safety equipments. Risk of falling or structural collapse is avoided by suitably organizing the work site. Means if your work site is suitably organized, then you can avoid the risk of falling or structural collapse, because there are many accidents due to the structural collapse. You might have read in the newspapers or listened in the news that a structure or a building under construction collapsed. So such type of structural failures or the collapses lead to very severe accidents, death of many workmen, death of many workers. Ensuring that safe equipment and machinery are provided for working at site and work facilities like scaffolding etc. are absolutely safe. Means the equipment that are to be used, machineries that are to be used at the work site, that they are safe. They are having all safety measures and safety guards. And also the other facilities like scaffolding, ladders, they are safe, they are not liable to fail while used. So that should be ensured. Ensure that workmen use personal protective equipment wherever necessary and follow preventive measures like not walking under suspended loads or walking inside a cordoned area to make a shortcut. Because this is a habit of workers that to make a shortcut, to reach at a place quickly, they are moving under the suspended loads, walking inside the cordoned area where they are not supposed to go. So this should not be done. To make workmen aware that use of proper lifting tools and tackles while lifting heavy loads are necessary to avoid spinal injuries in the long term. Because there are lot many accidents because of that injury to spine, and that generally occurs when the workers are lifting heavy loads or dealing with the heavy tools and they are not doing in a proper way. So that workers should be aware that what is the proper way to lift the heavy tools, to lift the heavy loads. Now we move to the responsibilities of main contractor. Because the work is being done at the site by the contractor, so and contractors also sublet some works to the other contractors. So there are certain liabilities or responsibilities of the main contractor. What are these? On large construction site, often more than one subcontractor are engaged in the construction work. On such a site, it is the responsibility of the main contractor to coordinate the health and safety measures across the construction site. These will generally include shared scaffolding, common lighting, storage areas, common pathways, transport of materials, etc. Means all subcontractors will use these things, and safety in these aspects is the responsibility of the main contractor. Going through safety inspection patrols and holding startup and safety meetings with all the subcontractors is essential for the main contractor to be able to review any unsafe condition or work procedure and take corrective measures if there is some faulty procedure or condition or unsafe condition or unsafe procedure is being followed there. So take the corrective measures in large construction sites. Now after the responsibilities of employer and contractor, we move to the responsibilities of the employees, because it is not the domain of employer or contractor only. If workers are not using the safe practices, then all measures or all safety precautions that are planned by the employer or the contractor, that will go waste. So all good intentions to work safely will fail unless the employee himself is not safety conscious. His responsibilities may be as follows. Any health or safety issues observed at site by an employee should be immediately reported to the superiors or to the health and safety representatives if he is available. Then employees should make themselves aware of all the safety rules and procedures applicable at the site and follow them diligently. Employees should use equipment and machineries as per instructions of use by the manufacturer or any special instruction that may have been laid down in the safety procedure. Scaffoldings should preferably have double rail guards and safety nets. Use of personal protective equipments as required is a must for all in a construction site. Means all workers should wear the personal protective equipment, because if some accidents is there, then it will safeguard to a large extent the workers and there will be less likely chances of any injury. Now let us see that what may be the accidents and what can be done. Accident due to falling. What can be done? Only work at height if you are secured against the falling. So workers should work at the height only if they are secured against falling. Means their harnesses are there, safety nets are there. So then only workers should work at the height. They should not carry anything in both the hands when they are climbing ladders or steps. Means at least one hand should be free. If you are carrying something in one hand, then other hand should be free, because if you are having a disbalance, then at least you can hold something to safeguard yourself. Watch out for clutter on the construction site. If the construction site is full of clutter, then you should be very careful while moving. Then what may be the other cause of accident? Accident because things fall or slide. Means there may be stacks of the things that may fall over the worker or which may slide and hit the worker. So for that, what can be done? Keep an eye on materials which could topple over. For example, if they are hit by a machine or blown by the wind, then be careful for that. Make sure that your materials and tools cannot fall down. For example, falling of tools and the materials from scaffolding or from a lift and hit people working below. So you should ensure that nothing is falling down from your workstation. Then accidents with tools. There are many tools. When the workers are working with these tools are running, very sharp tools. So there, if they are losing any concentration, they can be hit and injured. So what should be done? That workers should be careful when they are using the sharp or pointed tools. For example, circular saws, angle grinders, knives, etc. Follow the instructions for use for each tool you work with. You should not be overconfident that you are doing your own way. Follow the instructions that are given there. Then another cause of accident may be accident due to lifting and carrying. This is a very common, you can say, type of accident. So what can be done? Always use suitable technical equipment when you are to lift and move materials and machinery. Means hand lifting first should be avoided. Second, if it is to be done, it should be done in a ergonomic way. Avoid oblique lifting and uneven surfaces if you have to handle lighter loads. Do not lift a load without knowing its weight or its center of gravity. This is very important. Not only the weight is important, sometimes what happens that worker thinks that it is not very heavy looking at the size, but it may be having something who is having a higher density. So due to the higher density, even the size is small, the weight will be heavy. So when the worker is not careful, so if he is trying to lift the load, considering that it is not very heavy, then certainly due to the posture there will be some injury. Also, the center of gravity of the load or the weight plays a very great role, because center of gravity is not in the center, it is somewhat at eccentric location. Then in that case, if you are holding it and even in the center, then what will happen, that it will move or rotate towards the heavier part. So that way you can leave that load and accidentally it may fall on your feet. So such type of accident may occur. Accidents on internal access ways. What is happening here, that watch out for yourself and your colleagues when you use trucks, cranes and other vehicles. So while you are moving these machines, heavy machines basically, so you may hit some objects, you may hit some worker. So you have to be very careful when you are dealing with or driving these heavy machines. Make sure that materials are correctly loaded. If you are loading some material on some moving equipment, so it should be loaded correctly. Scaffolding work safety. So when you are working at heights, you need scaffolding, and there you have to be very careful. All scaffolding must be provided with crosswise bracings, guardrails comprising of hand, knee and foot rails should be provided for scaffolding over 2 meters high. Blocking up must not be higher or greater than 20 centimeter. Here you see that how the scaffolding looks like. So these are arrangements of you can say vertical and horizontal members to work at heights. Scaffolding over 3 meter high must only be erected under the direction of a qualified person and by workers who have undergone the special training for scaffolding. Anybody should not be involved in erection of the scaffolding. The erection instructions must be at the erection site. How the scaffolding is to be erected, that instruction should be at the erection site. Wheeled scaffolding must be secured against tipping. Consulting the erection instructions means whatever instructions are given for erection, follow them, and if scaffolding is having wheels, they must be secured against tipping. Scaffolding wheels should have brakes and be protected against falling out. Means these legs should not move out, these wheels should not come out. A notice stating that scaffolding classification and what it is to be used for must be provided with all fixed scaffoldings. All scaffolding shall have safe access routes which may consist of steps, step ladders or ladders depending on the construction and use of scaffolding. Here you see the wheel of the scaffolding and there should be some braking arrangement to arrest the wheel when it is placed at the site where it is to be used. Basically after that there should be some braking arrangement or arresting of wheel so that it does not move. Then ladder safety work. Ladders are the cause of many serious accidents. Therefore, it is better to choose more suitable equipment when working at height. For example, a lift. Means you should avoid using ladders because these may cause serious accidents. Slipping of ladder may occur. So when you are working at a height, instead of ladder, better you choose a lift. Follow the maker's instruction which must cover, if at all you are using the ladder, then follow the maker's instruction which must cover ladder slope. Means if you are positioning a ladder at a high angle, large angle, then it is very dangerous. So that ladder slope should be as per the instructions only. Warning against dangerous use. that what may be dangerous when you are using the ladder, how it can be dangerous, what acts can be dangerous. So you must focus on that warning. Inspection and maintenance, that how the inspection and maintenance of the ladder is done. Then storage, how it should be stored when it is not in use. Then permitted load, that what load is permissible at the ladder. Because if somebody heavier than the permitted load is using that ladder, then it is likely to fail and cause serious injury and accident. One should not work atop a ladder for more than 2.5 hours in a day. A break is needed after every 30 minutes while working atop a ladder. The top 2 rungs of the ladder must not be used. Means the top 2 rungs should not be used for riding. When working from a ladder, it is only permitted to use light and manageable tools and materials, that weigh not more than 10 kg and can be used with one hand. Means the heavier tools and the materials should not be used while using the ladder, because it is very difficult to manage heavier tools while working from a ladder. Ladder should be set up on a solid surface and at an angle of 75 degrees or as per the instructions from the supplier. Ladders must not be erected in front of doors or entrances, because people may be coming out or going in, may hit the ladder and the ladder may be disbalanced and there may be accident and the worker may fall. So the doors and entrances should be left free and ladder should be erected at some other place, not in front of the doors and the entrances. After setting up, stability of the ladder should be checked before mounting. You must check that whether the ladder is stable, then only you ride on that. Ladders to be used as access routes must project at least 1 meter above the access point and must be secured at the top. Trestle ladders should have a chain. Damaged ladders should never be used. Therefore, check your ladders before using them and in accordance with the supplier's instruction. Now let us move to the roof work safety. If you are working at roofs, if the worker is working at the roof, so how safety should be ensured? Guardrails or scaffolding must be provided for the safety of roof work if the fall distance is greater than 3.5 meter, and it is important that holes must be covered. As you see in this graphic, there is a guardrail at the end of the roof and also the hole is covered, so that worker should not fall through the hole accidentally. With sloping roofs, safety can be ensured by scaffolding with guardrails or by catch barrier. You see here at the end of the sloping roof, a catch barrier is there. When putting up purlins, roof cassettes, trapezoidal sheets or woodcrete sheets, if the fall distance is greater than 2 meter, safety netting or other fall protection arrangement must be mounted if there is a danger of falling into the building. So you see here on that sloping roof here, that here a safety net given in yellow square you see in this picture. This is a safety net under the working place. So if there is any accidental fall, then the worker will not go down, it will be arrested in the net. When work is to be carried out closer than 2 meters from the end wall at the end of building, guardrails must be mounted. Materials must be distributed on the roof surface to avoid concentrated load. During laying of roof, if the batten spacing from edge to edge is greater than 46 centimeter, then mounting safety nets and using walking boards is essential. Now we move to the safety in excavation. Before excavation work is started, the following needs to be ensured. Check the existing underground plan for any hindrances like pipelines or live cables. Check if traffic conditions could give rise to vibrations. A plan has been drawn up for signage of work in progress near or on areas with traffic. Check soil conditions, including any contamination of soil. Because if you are working underground, excavating something, if soil is contaminated, then there may be a health hazard. Whether the required shuttering, bracing and marking materials are available at site, that should be ensured. Whether there is personal protective equipment, that is hard hats and safety footwear, worker must wear this. Whether there is a availability of excavator suitable for the task, because the excavator must be suitable to the given task. Access and escape route should be planned beforehand. This is very important in any work, that access and escape route, and should be via a 0.8 meter wide stairway with hand and knee rails on both the sides. The edges of the building pit should be kept free of tools, materials and excavated soil for a distance of at least 1 meter. A 1 meter high guardrail with hand and foot rails shall be erected around the entire building pit. In areas with traffic, speed control measures should be installed, as well as safety zone of at least 1 meter in which no tools and materials are to be stored and access is prohibited. Barriers shall be clearly visible, durable, possibly using concrete blocks. Now, safety in demolition works. First is demolition plan. A plan should be drawn up for performance of the work before beginning of demolition work. Irrespective of the demolition job of the building or construction being full or partial, the plan should be drawn up. Then inspection of the building. The building has to be inspected for asbestos, mold, pigeon droppings, insulation, live wires or other materials which have to be removed separately before demolition commences. Then during demolition work, always plan for work methods and machinery that is likely to have least risk of accidents, ergonomic impacts, noise, dust and vibrations. To protect workers from falling objects and the building against complete collapse, demolition work should be performed in a specified sequence, which along with temporary safety measures and likely time consumption should be stated in a given plan. For partial demolition, the same safety measures need to be implemented as applicable for construction. Waste management is an important factor in preventing accidents from tripping and falling. If the total amount of waste exceeds 10 tons, the debris from demolition should be separated at source. So, these were some of the safety issues related to the construction industry. I hope you must have enjoyed this discussion. So, thank you for watching.